Teaching is the most life-changing profession on the planet, second only to being a parent or a caretaker. But let's face it, teachers are only human, and they go through the same problems as everyone else on the planet. For example, take my friend Judith. Just weeks before she took on her first teaching assignment, she was diagnosed with stage 2 cancer. And during the middle of all of that, she mustered up the energy to say, "I have found my profession." Now, you have to remember that teacher stress can be quite traumatic for everyone. And we get great joy from our teachers. And Judith's story reminds me of the seasoned teacher who still gets excited reading great literature aloud to her mature students. Judith's passion also reminds me of the new teacher who gets pure joy when his pre-kinder babies recite the alphabet for the very first time. We all love our teachers, and we understand that they are America's future keepers. But Judith reminds me of the 3.5 million teachers across the United States. Research confirms that 61%, 2 out of every 3 teachers, are often or always stressed out. Stress is defined as that emotional or mental anguish that comes about after one has experienced emotional trauma. Now, there are 2 types of teacher stress. The first is occupational stress. The second is personal stress, and we don't talk about that one that much because teachers are held in such high regard that we often think that they don't have problems. But despite their noble mystique, we have to remember that teachers don't fold away neatly into the drawer at the end of the day. They are real people with real problems. And they teach in a postmodern society, and they are confronted with such issues as divorce, domestic abuse, financial trouble, and even life-threatening issues like Judith. Teachers are human, and they can't check their problems at the door. The good, the bad, and the ugly are going into the classroom with teachers. Now, neuroscientists and learning theorists know something that a lot of us fail to appreciate, that there is this social and emotional dimension to teaching and learning. We need teachers to be resilient and show up inside the classroom as emotionally competent professionals ready to give back to our babies. We know that the more the resilience that they have, the more likely they are to stay in the classroom. So what? Well, there are these incredible, devastating effects on teachers. There is diminished performance in the classroom. It can negatively impact student achievement and motivation. It also affects their health. And we need to know that many of them are choosing to leave the profession altogether. For new teachers, 30% are gone after year 3, and 50% are gone after year 5. There's also collateral damage. We need you to understand that there's an interruption in instruction. We also see a negative impact on student achievement and motivation, and there are financial costs to school districts. Nearly $2.2 billion are spent annually in identifying, retraining, and restocking the teaching profession. But let's not lose hope. There is a new teacher care movement on the horizon, and they're taking advantage of such techniques as mindfulness, also yoga, and some of our brothers and sisters in the profession are seeking professional help. In my own research, I've looked at the art of storytelling as a powerful form of self-care. And in my latest book, Teacher Confidential, Personal Stories of Stress, Self-Care, and Resilience, I invited 7 resilient educators, pre-K through grade 20, to share their stories of tragedy and triumph. And Judith is one of those stories in my book. You should know that Judith looked cancer dead in the eye, and she rallied a great community of medical professionals and her family. She fought cancer, and she won. She rose up against it. Judith is a star teacher, still in the classroom 30 years later. Scholars of resilience, they tell us that there is this unique window of opportunity where people who've gone through trauma can actually grow or they can be consumed by it. In closing, I want to leave this with all of you. We can attend to the public and the professional to train our teachers, but we may have to attend to the personal to keep the 61%. The personal lives of teachers matter. Thank you.